Hey, welcome to your Scorpio horoscopes for the week of February 25th through March 2nd. And no planets in Scorpio until the end of the week when the moon comes in and shakes everything up. Because, of course, there's planets everywhere for the moon to interact with in good ways and bad. But before I get to that, let me just start off with an apology. There were no horoscopes last week. It's true. I didn't forget. It was just one of those weeks where there was no possible way to be able to get the recording done. So I apologize for that. I hope you guys can forgive me and we can move on from that and hope that it doesn't happen again in the future. To be honest with you, it might, but I will do everything in my power to make sure that it doesn't. Now, let's get to the good stuff. Focus is on those you love this month, as well as an element of your day-to-day schedule as well. The moon, things are pretty quiet most of the week until the moon comes in on Thursday and Friday. When the moon comes in on Thursday and Friday, it moves into a T square with Jupiter and Uranus, which are both focused on your support system, as well as Pluto, Mars, and Venus, which are all focused on long-term financial goals. The moon is really bringing that focus of those you love into the mix there, which basically means that those you love are not being supportive of your long-term financial goals. And this can be very, very challenging. However, any little thing can also mean that it's very easy to allow these people to let me start that over. It can be easier for you to make these people the excuse as to why you are not moving forward in your financial goals. Now, with that being said, I hear at least once a day, every day, and I'm not saying that I don't do it, okay, because I'm not above this. I try really hard not to these days, but I do it from time to time. At least once a day, every day, I hear excuses. There's so many excuses in the world. I want to do this, but I can't because this person is getting in my way, or that person is getting in my way, or the government is all wrong, or I have to pay taxes and the IRS is making it difficult for me to achieve my goals because I have to pay my taxes, blah, 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 blah. Everybody's got excuses. They're everywhere. And I feel that this particular situation for you guys is going to provide a million excuses as to why you can't move forward. But you really have to look at this in black and white terms here, which takes the excuse out of it. Number one, what are you doing to navigate through this situation? If you're not doing anything and somebody comes in and screws it up, it's not their fault. It is yours. Number two, we're also looking at situations where you are doing something and somebody consistently comes in and screws it up. Now, why are you allowing that to happen? Boundaries are important and everybody needs boundaries. Every relationship needs boundaries. I've been married for 30 years. That relationship still needs boundaries. In fact, it's more important because people who've been with each other for a really long time, or people that are married, or just your children, whatever, these particular relationships tends to be really good excuses as to why I can get away with doing this to this person continuously because they're my husband or my father or my child or what have you. That's no excuse. Even those relationships need boundaries to a certain extent. So if you're in the position where you're working towards your long-term goals, you've really been putting a lot of hard work into it, somebody always comes in, falls down, makes a huge mess of what you've built, and then you have to start all over again. Maybe you need to build a little wall around your sandcastle so that that can't happen anymore. Or instead of getting frustrated about it, it's time to come up with some different ideas that you can implement that might slow that process down, or even better than that, eliminate that problem for good. The good news is that the moon is in a trine with the sun and Mercury on Friday. Before that, in a trine with Mercury and Neptune, all of which are focused on your career. So you're probably thinking of these long-term money goals because there is some energy going towards maybe some more money there in your career, in which case that's definitely a good thing. But you don't want to allow the definition of insanity to come in and screw everything up again and again and again, which it will. Okay. It always will. That's one of the few things in life that you can count on, is that something's going to come in and screw it all up. So be ahead of that. Instead of worrying about what could screw everything up, be aware so that when you see it coming, you can divert it in some way and be more productive with your plans, rather than continuing to be in the same boat where you're constantly disappointed by somebody coming in and messing it up. Visually, this reminds me of a dog and a cat that I used to have. This cat was a fantastic gopher hunter. I mean, fantastic gopher hunter. She would bring us gophers left and right. We never had gophers in our yard. And we had a dog, and the dog and the cat absolutely adored each other. They got along really well. They would play. One of them caught a gopher and they were playing with it in the backyard once. But she would be sitting in that backyard waiting for that gopher for hours. And as soon as she looked like she was about ready to pounce, the dog would come tearing across the yard and screw everything up. And she'd have to start all over trying to get that gopher. And she was so mad about it. Her solution was to move to the front yard where the dog could not disturb her anymore. So you see what I'm saying here? Rather than sitting in a corner, giving up on gophers, she just moved to a place where the dog wasn't going to get in the way of her being able to catch that gopher. That's why animals are in many cases so much smarter than we are. They don't waste their time on emotions. They just fix the problem. So that's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do consider sending a tip or donation through my Coffee link, which is down there in the description. Really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Also, check out my website. Lots of stuff going there too. The link is in the description. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for watching this week. Really appreciate you guys and the support. And again, please accept my apology for the missing horoscopes last week. There was no way around it. Trust me, if there was, the horoscopes would have been there. I will see you guys next week. You guys make it a great week because you're awesome and you can.